he was engaging with me about the situation over there as well, and our situation globally as a people. And he compared that, to us partying every Saturday night hard and all the rest of it. We got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do. Organize now or perish, Papa Garvey said. He said that for a reason.
Yeah, that's very, very, very quickly, brother. Okay. Brother ShakaRa just referred to him having just gone to Sierra Leone and back. When the Civil War kicked off in 1991, it was a matter of a couple of weeks after my mother, my Uncle Sid, Aunt Cassie, Auntie Gwen, and Auntie Etta all visited Sierra Leone, and it was a matter of literally a couple of weeks after they left that the Civil War kicked off.
Serious business, Kings.
Yes,
Serious
yes.
business,
Give thanks, brother leader. Tena, my brothers and sisters.
Sorry, brother leader. Are you still joining us for the duration of the show?
Yeah, yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm in a kind of awkward situation at the moment, but yes, indeed, I certainly will be listening in, and I'm going to try to connect by other means.
Give thanks. That's what I was checking in about, the other means. Yeah. All right. Cool.
I'm with you.
Okay. All right. Tena.
Blessed love. Tena Mwari. Although many have tried to suppress the fact, the intellectual and cultural revival of African American music, dance, art, fashion, literature, theater, politics, and scholarship, known as the Harlem Renaissance, whose leading lights included Baba Claude McKay, Mama Zora Neale Hurston, Mama Augusta Savage, was very much driven by the UNIA-ACL. Indeed, its decline at the co-optation coincided with the turmoil within the UNIA-ACL due to the war declared on it by the USA government that resulted in the sham trial and imprisonment of Papa Garvey. The Garvey movement effectively harnessed various art forms in the cause of African liberation in the aim of a revolutionary culture that effects mass engagement. Arguably, this was an attempt to replicate culture in the traditional setting, communal and inclusive. The next major artistic uprising, the Black Arts Movement, happened in the 1960s during the period of African independence, where you had people like Chinua Achebe, Ngugi wa Thiong'o, and Osman Sembène, and Black Power activists like Amiri Baraka, Sonia Sanchez, and Hakimati Buti, and was referred to as the aesthetic and spiritual sister of the Black Power concept. This time, the counter-revolutionary fight back against the movement was less inclined to co-opt than to crush, using strategies like COINTELPRO in the USA and neo-colonialism in the continent. This isn't to say that radical art doesn't exist outside of this period of mass activism. In essence, art can be a reminder and progenitor of revolutionary potential. As spoken word activist, journalist, cultural scientist, and the young man next to me, Tafazwa ShakaRa Mbandaka, asserts, if the movement can inspire the arts of that generation, the movement can inspire the arts of this generation, and in turn, the art can inspire the movement. What you call a symbiotic relationship. However, most art is rendered in the current industrialized imperialistic context almost as an end in itself, art for art's sake, for profit and or notoriety. Thus, the moment that rose 2 years ago after the killing of George Floyd has all but dissipated, save some murals of the tragic victim of heinous police brutality. So, brothers and sisters, this evening, we ask the question, can revolutionary art thrive outside of a revolutionary movement? Where do revolutionary artists get their inspiration from? What value is art to the liberation movement? To what extent can art inspire the movement? Is there really a symbiosis between art and the movement? How can it be reignited? Our special guest that we just heard, Brother Leader Mbandaka, who is our resident guest and spiritual leader of the Alkebu-Lan Revivalist Movement. He is also an African-Centred Educational Consultant. Brother Leader is a veteran activist of almost 40 years standing. He is a featured columnist in the Whirlwind newspaper and author of the Mosiah daily Affirmations, and also Education, an African-Centred Approach to Excellence. We have two more guests for you, brothers and sisters. We have Brother M.A. Bunia, who is a Pan-African, is that lens or is it French?
Lens.
A Pan-African lens cultural programmer, organizer, screenwriter, and educator, and is currently in Senegal building a Pan-African multidisciplinary arts and academic research and residential co-op space. He's working with a range of institutions towards opening institutions in London, Kinshasa, and the Caribbean. Future projects include the Pan-African School of Power, Semiotics, and Cinema, Pan-African Lens Assemblies, a journal of global African lens cultural convergences, and the Black Lens Co-op, a London-based filmmakers society. Web presence for each will be published before the end of Mosiah as an offering to Papa Garvey. Well done, my dear brother Bunia. Tindai. And our other guest is Brother Malik Diouf, who lives in Senegal and is an activist, author, scriptwriter, and personal development coach, and founder of a number of initiatives and events. Mick is an African spiritualist that has been working with young people, students, in order to prepare them for the African Revolution. He has acted in a dozen films. He is also the creator of L'Étudiant, the student, the first students' magazine in Senegal with a Pan-African perspective. He is also the author of Succeeding in Higher Education, the 7 Secrets to Success at University. Big work.
Yes.
And finally, Sister Tamu Mazama, who has a very, very famous mother, I understand. She is a young activist and musician. She was born in Philadelphia, USA, but has spent an extensive time in Guadeloupe and the Eastern Caribbean. She was homeschooled by her mother, leading Afrocentric scholar Mama Ama Mazama, since the 1st grade. Wow. Sister Tamu is multilingual. She has visited 33 countries in 5 continents. She is the author of 17 Dry Seasons, a representation of the world's condition through her own eyes. She is currently, brothers and sisters, a 3rd-year student of Africology at Temple University. I think one of our guests this evening, if I'm right, Brother ShakaRa, Sister Tamu, will she be bringing? Will there be a recording?
Yes, Tendam Wari.
Go ahead.
Unfortunately, Sister Tamu is actually engaged in a Mosiah ceremony in Guadeloupe, as it stands right now. So she was unable to join us live, but she did send a recording, and we're going to get to that recording shortly. And so do stay tuned for that, Kings and Queens. But just to say, she's a very beautiful, powerful, and passionate sister when it comes to African liberation. I feel a deep connection to her because I was raised in the movement. And I you know, when you have a you can sense when somebody's about that life, yeah. Coming from somebody who was raised in the movement, and she's certainly one such individual, and so I really do resonate with her spirit. And so no doubt we have to get her back live on Africa Speaks with Alkebu-Lan at some point. But I do give thanks for her for sending the recording in. But for now, let's just get the voice of our two brothers, Mike and M.A. Bunia, who happen to be in the same vicinity. Greetings, my brothers.
Check.
There we go. All right, yeah, we got you. Giving thanks. We can hear you clearly. All right, greetings, brother Bunia.
Yes. Greetings, brother ShakaRa.
Greetings.
How are you, my brother?
Yeah, I'm good. Greetings, brother Mike.
Yeah, greetings, Shaka.
Greetings.
Hope that everything is good, and how can I say, I appreciate the first part of your broadcast.
Yes,
it was
sir.
nice.
Yes, sir. Give thanks, and we appreciate you both for being here. Yeah, right.
Greetings, my brother. Greetings.
So this, by the way, my co-host in the studio is brother Omowale Kwao. Yeah, and so. If you hear the other voice, then you know who it is. Tendai. All right. So my brothers, because our sister Tamu was unable to be with us live, what I'm gonna do is begin by playing her audio, just so we can the gathered strong can hear her voice, and then we're gonna get into a conversation with you. Yeah, the audio is approximately 3 minutes, so just stay tuned, and we're gonna get back to you.
Yes, loud and clear.
All right, Kings and Queens. So we're going to hear from Sister Tamu, who's over there in Guadeloupe at the moment, engaged in a Mosiah observance, and she was kind enough to record an audio with her perspective on this subject.
What's up, family?
So we're going to hear from her now. Tendai.
What's up, family? This is Tamu Mazama sending you this message from Guadeloupe, which is located in the Caribbean. So I would first like to say that I am extremely honored and happy to be a part of this very important conversation that I know will enlighten many African people. I would like to also announce that Afrocentricity International in Guadeloupe will be co-hosting with the Zambezi organization, which is a Pan-African organization that focuses on promoting and uplifting African culture. Will be hosting an event on Marcus Garvey this week. This is extremely exciting because there will be several speakers, including Ama Mazama, who will talk to us about who Marcus Garvey was and what he has contributed to African people. There will also be local vendors from Guadeloupe who will put Marcus Garvey at the forefront of their items. So this will be a very important celebration to honor and to be inspired by Marcus Garvey. And to present myself, I am a third-year Africology student at Temple University. I have written 2 books that talk about the place of African spirituality in African liberation. I'm also a radio host with a program that focuses on building bridges between the young people of the diaspora and the continent. I am also an active member of Afrocentricity International, that is an organization committed to the African Renaissance based on the revival of African spirituality. And last but not least, I am a singer, and I like to say that I sing songs for Africa and its children. So I really have dedicated myself to sing for the African Renaissance. And many of my songs are for African divinities, are to venerate them and to connect people to these divinities. So I myself will be participating in the Marcus Garvey event. And I will be performing a song that I have composed for our great hero, Marcus Garvey. And I believe that art restores the truth. And Afrocentricity allows African art to tell our truth to our people. And this is particularly important when it comes to our history and to our culture because it has been suppressed for so long. So as a young artist in the African Renaissance movement, I have dedicated my life to help restore our people's consciousness. And I believe that art inspires us to be strong and encourages us to be ourselves. And like our noble ancestor, Marcus Garvey once said, "Up, you mighty race." Ashe.
Ashe. Tenamwari Kings and Queens. That was Sister Tamu Mazama, the daughter of Mambo Ama Mazama. We had the pleasure of meeting her actually in 2006 when Mama Ama came over here for Africa Liberation Day, and we had the pleasure of hosting them at our headquarters in East London. But she was little more than a baby at the time. She was over here a few years ago for the Black Carpet Awards, and we met her then as well. Had the pleasure of buying her book. I have her book. So now she'd be in her early 20s, and as I said, you can hear the assuredness and the confidence of her role and her dedication of her life,
commitment,
to the liberation of African people. And so, like I said, I feel a deep synergy, with my young sister.
Symbiosis, perhaps?
Of course, because that we depend, you know what I mean. So we just give thanks for that, and I love to see it, and I want to connect more with the sister, and learn and grow and forward this liberation fight.
And the fact that she's connecting our youth
100%,
in the diaspora with our
100%,
youth
100%.
in Mama Africa, that is powerful.
100%, and
we need to link her.
At some point in life, my passport will look like hers. You know what I mean? When you hear she's early 20s and 33 countries already, that's very serious business. Yeah,
she's just a warm up.
And that we say, and no, she does it herself. I know she's been to Senegal, where our brothers Ma and Mike are now, and she traveled to many countries, and she will travel by herself. But she's an organizer, brothers and sisters, and so we want to just give thanks for her energy, and no doubt we're going to hear from her again soon. And that, just hearing her voice was very, very important. She's a rising black star. And so we just want to honor Sister Tamu Mazama. And with that, my brothers, Bunia and Mike, greetings and welcome once again. So I do believe, that a good place to start with this is just give us, I want people to know where you do, and what you're going on with in Senegal, at the moment. What works are you dealing with? And we can approach and build the conversation from that platform. I think it's very important to give our listeners an idea of the practical work that you all are engaged in and answer our questions from that perspective. So go ahead. Give us an overview.
Who we starting with?
Overstood.
Either one.
Tendai Mwari. Yes, so I'm M.A. Bunia. My wife and I have been in Senegal since June. We took a trip here last year in November, October time, with the intention of, in fact, we came to Gambia first, and we made the journey across the border to Senegal with the intention of conducting some research on the intricacies of this modality we call African cinema. We connected with a few organizations, included Senti Nenga, and some others, and our encounters were, I would say, quite profound, being that we were welcomed with open arms, and we were introduced to another organization called Cine Banlieue, which is a cooperative filmmaking organization, which was birthed by, if I get this wrong, you can correct me, Mr. Abdelaziz Boy.
That's it, yeah.
Yes, so who is a spiritual father to ShakaRa smiling. He's a spiritual father of this group of, multi-generational group of young people, and maybe now a little bit older, I suppose, who are central to the rebirth of cinema in Senegal. If the listeners don't necessarily know, Senegal is widely regarded as the home of African cinema, due to some of its early practitioners, such as Ousmane Sembène and Jibril Job Mambeti. So yes, over a period of time, that cinematic engagement, and we can come back to this subject when we discuss, the absence of revolutionary movements coinciding with a decline in revolutionary art expression.
Yes.
We can discuss that. But yeah, so this organization that we encountered, again, welcomed us with open arms. I was there yesterday, actually. And from that, a relationship grew with one of the primary movers, a man called Karage.
Right.
And we were offered the opportunity to join his organization, Filmica, which is an African cinema distribution platform.
Okay.
This particular platform and movement is designed to address colonial stranglehold over the distribution of African cinema.
Okay.
We have films in being made in a particular region of the country, for example, and those films cannot get shown in that region itself because of the relationships between the distributors and the power structures and economics that are involved in this process. So, so our encounters brought us back here to continue the works, and then also to take the opportunity to further the agenda that my wife and I have, which is to connect and build cooperatives across the continent and diaspora. So we're here in Bánza Kunda. I have to learn to say it properly. The Bánza, I think it's Bánza and Kunda. Kunda, I believe, well, I know it means place or home or space in, yes.
I don't know exactly.
I believe in Wolof.
Probably like this.
Yeah, you have Serakunda, you have...
But it's not a Wolof language.
It's not Wolof. Okay, we'll find out.
It's interesting, you know. There's a word in Bantu languages like Kikongo, which is Kanda. Yeah, there's a word in Bantu languages like Kikongo, which is Kanda, which has a similar meaning. Yeah, about spaces for, but it's a communal space. It can be a governmental space. It's a social space.
Right.
It's the public space for the nation, if that makes sense. So that's interesting. I'd love to see if there's a connection between the word in Kikongo and the word in whichever language it comes from in Senegal.
And
Brother ShakaRa.
Bánza is a Kikongo word meaning think.
Right.
Yes? So we're here in this space. This is the thinking space.
The thinking space. Right.
Yeah, but it's also, of course, a doing space.
Yes, I.
So it's built as a cooperative initiative. The building is vast. Right now, we have up to maybe a dozen people in the building.
Okay.
All building towards something in relation to Pan-African liberation.
That's beautiful. I want to applaud you, my brother Bunia, for hitting the ground running. Yeah. In terms of your sojourn in Senegal and making all those connections, and know that we're going to flesh out, more of that work in a second. I do want to get brother Mac Mike's response to this question, but brother Omawari
just a quick one. Tenda Mwari, brother Bunia. Lovely to hear from you, my brother. There's some interesting work that you've been doing on these shows that intrigue me, particularly in terms of special ed. However, a Pan-African lens cultural programmer. Can you help us for the uninitiated? What indeed is a Pan-African lens cultural programmer, my brother? Help us.
Yeah, man, I make that up myself, innit? You know?
Go on. I knew that. I already knew that.
Artistic.
Brother Bunia is my brethren. So when I heard that, I know say he was, he created the feel. You know what I mean? I just know that. When I hear that and stuff, I know say Bunia just create that up. You know what I mean?
Okay, but
we give time.
You're gonna have to rescue us, though, my brother. Come with the meaning now for us.
Yes, unks. So I always put lens in quotation marks because the first lens that we know of as beings is the eyes, right? We have an inner lens that is functioning all the time, as far as I'm concerned. And then we have our cultural lens on top of that as well. I regard lens culture as pertaining to Africans as the lenses through which we observe and interpret the world and each other. Right? So primarily, when I talk about lens, those are the foundations. But beyond the foundations, I am screen arts. Screen arts is my area of expertise.
Right.
So whether it be photography or cinema, I've kind of wrapped those designations and definitions into an occupation for myself, I guess. That's how I regard
that's beautiful work,
lens culture.
That's beautiful work. Give thanks for that, my brother. Let's hear from brother Mike here. Anything that you want to add in terms of the work that you do in the beautiful nation of Senegal, and how you and brother Bunia have linked up, how your work fits into what brother Bunia has explained already in that regard.
Yeah, Shaka, thank you for the question.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that I met Shaka and his wife at Yenenga the first time. Yeah, the first time it was at Yenenga. And I appreciate his style. You know, he got a nice style.
And I agree, my brother. I agree.
Yeah, we just introduced each other. And after the second time I heard that, it was here when I came here to one of my brother who worked with him, Kara, and we accentuate about our our culture, our spiritual way, you know. And I see someone who probably who exactly think like me and who I think like, you know, and we got the same position about many things for African and Black people situation, for African and Black people dream, and how we can together do something to help the African continent and the Black people around the world, you know. And that's why we keep connection, and we try to work about something together. And he invited me. I'm very proud for that. He invited me to the show, and he gave me the opportunity to meet you. Yes, sir. Like to discuss with you, to know how things are moving there. You know, because if you are in a French country or in a Francophone country, it's not easy to understand what happened there with other Black people, like American Black people or something like that. You know. Yes, sir. And that's why there is. Lot of ideas that you share here, but I don't really understand because it's my first time, you know. Right. Understood, my brother. And you did. Well, I let the listeners in when we first got on stream. Brother Mike did say that, you know, his English is not as good as mine. So I had to inform him that my Wolof is not as good as his. You know what I'm saying? And so we are crossing the language barrier. And I know my brother M.A. Bunia is very passionate about that we shouldn't allow language to be a barrier, that we should overcome that barrier so that we can communicate. And so I'm elated to have you both here, especially because we are speaking to brothers in a nation that is considered to be Francophone, but more importantly has many African languages, that we need to get in touch with and connect to. Now, my brother, I'm going to come back to you, Bunia. But we did mention in our show spec that Senegal is, and you mentioned earlier, Brother Bunia, that Senegal is considered the center of African cinema. And we mentioned the name Ousmane Sembène. I'd like to know, beginning with Brother Mac, if you can, just shed some light on the impact of cinema and film coming out of the nation of Senegal. Like you mentioned, Senegal being a so-called Francophone country, many of us in the English-speaking world may not be too aware of the significance, of Ousmane Sembène and others, and the impact of their films in terms of Pan-Africanism. So if you have any insights on that, could you please share them with us? Yeah, Ousmane Sembène is one of the most important director in Africa, you know. And Ousmane Sembène is better known in some countries like Burkina Faso than Senegal, you know. There is a lot of young people here who don't exactly know who is Sembène Ousmane. Right. Those who work in cinema, they know who is Sembène Ousmane. But when we try to see the impact of Sembène Ousmane art or Sembène Ousmane films in Senegalese art or Senegalese young people, maybe mentality, we can say that it's not so, how we can say, so important, you know. Right. There is some guys who are initiated to make films or something like that, or arts, or how can I say, any kind of arts, they know Semben Usman films. The elders, the older people, those who, how can I say, the generation before us, they watch Semben Usman's films, but these young people don't know who is Semben Usman. They don't read Semben Usman's books. They don't watch Semben Usman films. That's why there is now continuity of the revolution that was, how can I say, that was shared in Semben Usman films. And if you look some films of Semben Usman like Chedo, I don't know if you saw this film.
Certainly.
If you watch this film, Chedo talk about the religion and how the religion was introduced in Africa.
Yes.
And
by the religion, sorry, Brother Mac, not to interrupt you, but by the religion, you're talking about Islam, the religion of Islam, specifically.
Islam and Christianism.
And Christianity, yes. Go ahead. Continue.
How this religion was introduced here. Today we can see that there a lot of people here in Senegal, a lot of young people how can I say, they didn't watch this film.
Right.
They don't know this film. They know nothing about the film. Because there is no many cinema, I don't know, the room, cinema screeners where people can go and watch cinema.
Right.
The cinema that exists here is Semben Usman. It have the Semben Usman's name, but it don't help us.
Right. To understand. Right.
They diffuse all kind of films. Hollywood films, something like that. We don't have platforms also where we can share our films. That's why I supported Kara since when he started his project, because I know how this project can be important for sharing our films and for making our films watched by our people. So we can say that there is some young cinematographic director that have the revolution in their mind. They know that we need to make films that can change the mentality of our people, of our young people, and we have by arts contribute to change our country. I can say I won't say our country, but the black people life and the African life.
Yes, sir.
We can so to if I can say that the cinema of Semben have a few impact, but it's not too much here in Senegal.
Beautiful.
But if you go somewhere in Burkina Faso, they know who is Semben and they have done something with him. He got a statue there in Burkina Faso, but here there is nothing that can, how can say, that can give us information about the dimension of Semben Usman.
Yes. Give him thanks, Brother Mike. Yeah, I'm gonna get some insight from you as well, Bunia, on that question, just to give our listeners some understanding. The film that Brother Mike mentioned, Chedo, spelled Ceddo, is one of Usman Samben's most popular films, and as our brother has informed us, it deals with the how Islam and Christianity came into Africa and its impact on the indigenous culture and spiritual systems of the region that is now currently known as Senegal. And one of the reasons why a lot of people don't know about the film in Senegal is because it was banned for a particular period of time in the nation of Senegal because of its depiction of conflict between Muslim Christians and the indigenous spiritual systems. And as we know, Senegal is a majority, officially a majority Muslim nation. But there are nuances to that in terms of how African spiritual systems have preserved themselves. And I note that my brother in our brother Mike's bio, it says that he is an African spiritualist, and so I would love to explore that at some point a little piece as well. But my brother Bunia,
before we go to Brother Bunia, because it is this particular texter, 630 Tatenda, thank you very much,
yes,
my dear brother or sister, 630. He or she says, peace all. What is the origin of the name Senegal? My friend always asked me to go to Senegal, but I always associate it to be very religious, and he said it puts him off.
Okay.
So it kind of connects with.
We'll get a reflection on Senegal and that kind of thing in a sec. What do you know the origin of the name Senegal? Any one of you?
I can't say exactly what's the origin, but here we understand that Senegal come from Sunugal. Sunugal mean our what's the name? Boat, exactly.
Our boat, right.
Our boat. Sunu mean our. Gal mean boat.
Right.
That's what they say.
Okay. All right. Understood.
We have
Yes, sir.
We have another version.
Go ahead.
There is another version that I forgot.
Okay. All right.
I don't remember. There is another version.
Right.
As far as I'm aware, there's no definitive. I've seen a few explanations.
Suggestions, yes. Okay. All right.
One of them.
Beautiful. Give thanks for that explanation right there.
Yeah.
Brother Bunya, at some point we'll answer the texter's question in terms of your experience of Senegal as a nation. Yeah, might be something informative for our listeners. But for now, as a where you call it again? Sorry, let me make sure we get the terminology correct.
Pan-African
Lens Cultural Programmer. All right.
Good
yeah?
night.
All right. Yeah. So as a Pan-African Lens Cultural Programmer, just give your overstanding of the legacy of Ousmane Sambén and all of and Senegal as a hub for Pan-African film, and how that has developed from the so-called colonial period until now. Yeah, has there been significant development from the time of Ousmane Sambén, or significant regression, and what do you see as the primary factors within either of those dynamics?
Just before you answer, just to say that there is back in the 80s, there was a group, an organization, arts group and organization known as Chedo.
Yes,
from back in the 80s.
Yes,
Sister June comes to mind.
Well, it was founded by our now ancestor, Brother Menelik Shabazz. But he named it after the film. Yeah. He named it after this film. So
there's a connection there already.
Yes, sir. But yeah, go ahead, Brother Bunya.
Yeah, I do believe that Mike will probably have a better answer than I do to this question. But as far as could you repeat the last part of your question again?
Yeah, I was looking at your understanding as somebody who studied like film and African film, Pan-African film, in terms of the development of African film as a revolutionary vehicle from the time of Baba Ousmane Sambén till now, and what are the factors that have featured into the progression or the regression of the medium as a consciousness raising or a revolutionary Pan-African tool.
Right. Yeah, I'm basically going to queue up Mark for this question, but my understanding is there are several factors. Well, first and foremost, I think it may be fair to say there's been a regression.
Right.
Yeah. From the time of Ousmane Sambén. And some of these are political factors. In fact, there will be political factors, but they are actually, the change of administration, as in governments and their policies and their regard for cinema, how much money they're prepared to put in or how much money they're prepared to take out of the arts itself. Senegal is known as a jewel in the world of art. Like everywhere you go in Senegal, you can see a form of expression somewhere. It's amazing. We've just, the Biennale finished in June, early June, mid-June, 21st of June, that's right. Which is every 2 years there's a big festival here of art. And I would say that there's definitely been a regression. I do understand. I mean, I've had a conversation with an individual at some point last year from another organization who explained to me that some organizations that were dealing with cinema had to move out of their existing building and ended up in essentially in a tower block in a council flat, or to continue to operate as they were previously, and slowly, I suppose you can call it an austerity measure against the arts.
Right.
And that is largely down to kind of the axiology of the nation or of the leadership or of the society, of the education system that can diminish such an important aspect of revolutionary expression. And so I would say there's definitely been a regression. I would also say that obviously with that, Mike explained that there's a cinema complex named after Usman Sembène that plays Marvel movies all day. Right. So you can see that there's a cultural deficit as pertaining to cinema specifically, but then there's a further cultural deficit in terms of what type of cinema is being shown at all. So that's the extent of my knowledge in that sense. But I've spoken to young filmmakers here in Senegal, and not young filmmakers, young people in Senegal, and I concur with what Mike is saying. They just do not know. They just do not know.
Thank you very much, Brother Bunia. You said that you want to queue up Mike to expound upon this the answer to this question. So I'm going to hand over to my brother just in case he wants to add anything to what you said.
Yeah, Shaka, like Bunia said, there is a regression when we do when we try to see what was happening in Sembène Usman times and now, because it's difficult for us today to identify one of the cinematic director who can be classified like a revolutionary in his art,
Okay.
It's very difficult to see this. And there is another problem here. When around the world we understand Senegalese cinema. The name you can understand today is Alain Gomis, how I can say, the girl, Mati Job,
Right.
Mati Job. And their film are financed by French,
Okay, right.
And French don't need the young cinematic guys who promote revolutionary.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that's why today it's very difficult to to see this kind of film in our screens.
Right.
And another problem is that we don't have place where we can diffuse our film.
Right.
How can say Sembène Usman is not for us. Canal Olympia is not for us. The French Center is not for us. They have the possibility to choose what kind of film that we can see here in Senegal.
Right.
And we have a problem with directors who make films, revolutionary films. We have a problem to find where we can see this kind of films.
Yes.
And we have a problem to get to finance our films, our movies.
Right.
And I hope that if I remember, you got a question about Chedo.
I didn't have a question about Chedo, but if you wanted to speak on it, you feel free to.
If I don't understand.
You want to make a comment
about Chedo?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Just to explain what is Chedo. Chedo mean is the name of the Sembène Usman film. This film, but Chedo mean is the name of our ancestor. Our ancestors fighting
Yes.
colonization,
Yes.
slavery,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
And Ceddo come from Pula. You know, Pula is a language here in Senegal, in Africa, and it means warrior. It can mean a warrior.
Yes.
And my father is a settler. He told me, we can get two meaning of Ceddo. Ceddo mean someone who is intelligent and who fight, a warrior.
Right. I've heard it. I've heard the term Ceddo translated as that culture of resistance, or someone who resists using his culture, or something like that. I've heard it translated as that. Is there any?
Why?
I don't know. I've heard it translated as that. I'm not sure if that's a accurate translation or not. But you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Is an accurate translation?
Accurate.
Somebody who uses the culture as a
tool of resistance.
Weapon of resistance.
Is that an accurate translation of the word Ceddo?
Yeah, we can say, because that's why I say that there is two meaning. The first meaning is the fact that a Ceddo is a fighter. A Ceddo have many values.
Right,
you know?
right.
He love himself. He love his culture.
Okay.
He defend his country and his community.
Yes, sir.
You know, and that was the Ceddo who was fighting with colons. You know. Les colonisateurs, quoi.
The colonizer.
Colonizer, right. You know? Okay. Point taken. And by the way, having still all of that, I do want to commend Brother Omowale, because there was a little bit of French in our spec earlier, and he negotiated the parlez-vous, the Francois, rather expertly, Brother Omowale, you know. So you're overcoming the language barrier. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, I know these things. All right. Far better than I would have, so we'll give thanks. Now, my brothers, we're going to open up the line soon, for callers to interact with you. There are two primary questions there's so many questions that I want to ask you, but there are two primary ones that I want to tease out prior to that point, and then we'll explore other things and focus on what you are doing, and how we can develop African art in general and cinema in particular from here on out. My first question to you both is about the fact that at the moment, we're living in what can be considered to be a rise in the profile of African cinema. Yes? And I think Brother Mac might just refer to that in some way, shape or form earlier. But for example, we know that Nollywood, coming out of Nigeria, is an international industry, and many people, when you say that Senegal is the center of African film, they might be confused, because Nollywood is considered to be the biggest film industry on the continent. And then you also have Netflix, which over the last 5 years, 3 years in fact, has had a significant increase in drama and film coming out of Nigeria, coming out of South Africa, coming out of even other parts of the continent, Senegal, Mali, and other places included, What do you think this rise in the profile of African cinema means within the context of revolutionary Pan-African activism and development? Is it a help or a hindrance?
I would say it can be both.
Right.
I think first and foremost, my journey to Senegal was to engage in research, the question of what actually is African cinema, right? Mm-hmm. So when you talk about African cinema, you've got a few strands that need to kind of be understood and negotiated.
Okay.
Just off the bat, if I was to ask somebody, or ask a filmmaker, in fact, what aspect of your movie what aspects of your movie make it African? Is it the fact that you're an African film, as in you are from Africa?
Right.
Is it the cast? Is it the script?
Right.
Is it are the funds coming from an African source, or even and this is even more important, the interactions on set?
Right.
Are the relationships that occur on the set in the creation of these things, do they have African cultural foundations? You know, because what you will find. Sorry,
One second, Brother Bunia, sorry. We're just getting a premature caller coming through.
Yes.
Yeah, so hold tight, callers. Yeah, the lines are not open yet. We want to squeeze a little piece more out of our brothers.
Right, the callers.
And they're being rather persistent at the moment. But
okay, callers. Tenamori callers. Brother Naya, hold tight. We will get through to you. And 022, we will get through to you.
Yes, indeed.
Very, very shortly. Thank you very much for interacting with us.
Yes, sir.
You've preempted us
Yes, sir.
by a few minutes.
Yes, sir.
Kings and queens. So just hold tight. 322. 322 is very persistent.
May I beg you to stop calling right here now,
322, try and listen to your radio.
Yes.
And just hold tight. Hold tight.
Tenam.
The enthusiasm is out there, brothers.
Don't worry.
Don't worry.
Right, and we also have Brother Leader Mbandaka waiting in the wings. And so when you're ready, Brother Leader, please turn your camera on, and we'll bring you through to the panel. Right, go ahead, Brother Bunia. Complete your statement.
Yeah, sorry. Brother Max just stepped out for a second as well. So
No problem. That's fine.
Side. So, as I was saying, it can be both. And I believe the designation African cinema itself is quite ambiguous.
Right.
Or has become ambiguous.
Yes.
I know that there are filmmakers. I know that there are white filmmakers who are maybe born in South Africa.
Right.
Who are regarded as African filmmakers. I know that there are films made by Italians.
Yes.
For example, Battle of Algiers, which is a brilliant movie.
Yes.
But it's made by an Italian.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So this was part of my research trip to Senegal in the first place, was to have these conversations, and it's not the first time these conversations have been had.
Have arisen, yes.
However, I'm trying to inquire a little bit deeper than perhaps some of the researchers have.
Right.
So because the designation has become so vague, right? It can apply to anything at this point, it seems, right? You have some scholars that would say that African cinema, Ousmane Sembène is the godfather, quote unquote godfather of African cinema, not because he was the first African person to direct a movie. No, it's because the type of movie he directed and the type of screenplay that was produced had an African-centred agenda at its core. And thus African cinema is then born. You understand?
Yes.
So that is one strand of. Sorry, that's one benefit to the rise of African cinema in general, because you can see in the UK there are programmers now like We Are Parable and others and Black Star who are putting on these films, and the popularity itself is enabling those smaller, lesser known movies to have an audience, right? That's a good thing. But we come back to this thing of let's mention the French again. Yes, let's speak about the French again. Let's speak about the limitations, the invisible ceilings and invisible walls that exist at the level of executive production, funding, green lighting or red light in a particular production, influencing filmmakers to change the narrative of their film. It happens in the UK, right?
Yes.
Influencing filmmakers to change the narratives of their films. And again, there's a parallel to be seen in the music industry,
right,
where agendas are steered towards a particular themes that may be, certainly steer themselves away from revolutionary art and more towards populism, right? So to answer the question, it's both, but it leans more towards the idea of African film being what we see in that populist space, as opposed to what Ousmane Sembène set as an agenda for us.
Understood. Brother Mike, do you have anything to add to the answer to this question?
Can you remind me the question?
Yes, I was asking about the rise of the profile of film and drama coming out of Africa, principally from places like Nigeria, South Africa, and other places like Senegal and Mali and so on and so forth. But being featured on platforms like Netflix, the proliferation of Nollywood as now what is considered to be the biggest film industry in Africa, and whether you think this is a help or a hindrance to the development of a truly revolutionary Pan-African film culture.
Yeah, I hope that we can say that, for example, if we for the case of Netflix is an enterprise. He is watching for money, and he just try to see the kind of films that African people watch or that the world want to see about Africa, and they share this kind of films. Like he said, sometime here in Africa, most of those who do the cinema, they think that doing an African film, it's mean doing a film in Africa. Doing a film in Africa don't mean that you are doing an African film.
Right.
Doing a film with African people don't mean that you're doing an African film. Like Mark said, if I give an important place for financement. Those who finance the film, they determine what the film can be used for. For example, a lot of films here, if you want a lot of directors, when they want to do a film, they write the script with the character that the phones are waiting for, like La Francophonie. I don't know the name. La Francophonie, because there is a lot of phones that have their character if you want your film to be helped by them.
Right.
They say that this year's we gonna help films that talk about talk about feminism.
Right. Right.
And if you don't write what you want, you don't make the film that you want, you can say that your film defend your people.
Okay.
You can say that your film are African film.
Right.
Because an African film, what makes a film African? The first thing is to be a film to talk about Africans' problems,
Right.
And after we can talk about aesthetic. How can I say aesthetic? Aesthetic character. What's the language who is used?
Right. Right.
Now, for example, me, I'm working in a series, a movie, a series.
Series, yeah.
Yeah. That we be made in my language.
Okay.
I'm a serer,
Right.
in my language.
Okay.
Because, like Sheikh Anta Diop said, the fact that our president talks in English, in French, is a way for them to don't say the truth to the population.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because they know that if they use the language that the population really understand, it will be stupid. Some kind of discourse, some kind of words,
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
the population will understand it. That's why they're using that. I say so. An African film, we can say if the film is done in an African language.
Yes.
How the actor dress.
Yes.
What's the problems that is avoided in the film.
Yes.
But etc. Because there is a lot of things that we can say. But the first problem is that if the person who do the film don't really know his culture, he don't really know who he is, he can't do a good film in this direction. And that's the first problem here in Senegal, for example.
Yes.
The Senegal have the opportunity with colonization to be tied to French.
Yes.
That's why you can say tirailleurs sénégalais, Gorée, and see how I can say l'Afrique occidentale français, the capital of Afrique Occidentale Français was in Senegal.
Right.
Most of our presidents was in France, and they learned there.
Yes.
That's why it's difficult for Senegalese to know who they are.
Yes.
To get a vision around the world like Pan-Africanism, and to do films for that. We are trying all time to be like French, to do films like Endo, do films like Frenchies, to do films like Americans, and not doing films like us, and to share who we are, to magnify who we are,
Exactly. And I, just to add to that, you can see if you trace back how film comes to a particular region on the continent. For example, with Senegal, you have the Decree Laval, the Laval Decree, which was a law that the French imposed upon Senegal, or was it Francophone nations, Francophone African nations, where they were prevented from making films.
Yes,
it's that simple.
Yes.
Right, and that was lifted. Do you know what year that was lifted? In the 70s, I think.
Right. I don't know exactly.
Not sure.
Okay, my brothers, Tenamoi brothers. Excellent engagement. We give thanks to the two of you, and it is very, very inspirational. It sounds like Senegal is doing a lot for the African continent. Unfortunately, the Senegalese people are maybe not getting the maximum benefit of the great work that's coming from Senegal. I'd like to open the lines now, brothers and sisters. The lines are now open. Okay, they're coming in thick and fast now. The number to call, 0203 289 6504. That's 020 289 6504. We got a couple of callers on the line. Let me start with Brother Naya. Tendamroy, Brother Naya, welcome to Africa Speaks.
Well, before you come in, Brother Naya, our brothers have brought us seamlessly to our main question today, which I want to remind our listeners of, and I want to get a direct answer from our brothers on this soon, at some point. Can revolutionary art thrive outside of a revolutionary movement? So we have to look at the extent to which Pan-African movements exist in our various different spaces, and specifically in Senegal, and how we are developing the movement itself and the art within the context of the movement, reminding ourselves that, as our brother Mac Mike just mentioned,
we call it Mac Miller.
I know,
Oh my gosh.
Scratch that from the record, please.
Sorry.
Scratch that from the record.
That'll be in the cutting room floor, don't worry.
Yes, 100%.
Yes.
Tenamwari. As our brother Mac Mike just mentioned, Senegal is also the home nation of Baba Sheikh Anta Diop. And I also just want to check, Brother Leader Mbandaka, are you with us?
Not yet.
No, he's here with us.
Right.
We're here, but I just want to check that he's audible. Brother Leader, are you with us?
He's muted, I think.
Yeah, he is. Okay, he's clearly not with us at the moment. All right, Brother Naya, Tendamwari.
Go ahead, Brother Naya. Welcome to Africa Speaks. Oh, so hold on, Brother Naya. Sorry.
Other one. Tendamwari, Brother Naya.
Brother Naya.
Brother Naya appears to be muted. All right, we're gonna come back to Brother Naya.
I think we've got another.
No, Brother Naya has left. So the 837. You're Tendamwari. You're live with Africa Speaks of Alkebu-Lan. What's your name and where you're calling from? I'm fine, sir.
Tendamwari, Brother Kwame Abuaji.
How are you as well?
Giving thanks and praises, my dear brother.
Yeah, and greetings to my brothers as well. It's an excellent debate tonight. In my opinion, as Africans, we've played a major role in films. Brother ShakaRa is totally right. If you look at the Nollywood film industry in Nigeria, in my opinion, it's the best of them all. Because when you look at it talks about love, it talks about pain, it talks about family, it talks about laughter. This is what African cinema is meant to be about, And the Harmon Renaissance, as you mentioned tonight, it is the bedrock of Africans learning about our roots and reality. And I mean, the ones who contributed to it, as you know, in poetry, music, films, whether it's from Baba Claude Mackay right up to Baba Paul Robeson. And I mean, if you look at it, African films and dramas should continue to make us be proud of who we are as African people, Brother Wally.
Giving thanks, Brother Kwame, for your contribution to the show. Tendai Mwari, giving thanks.
Take care of yourself.
You too, Tendai Mwari. Brother Naya?
Just to reiterate, sorry, I'm conscious of the fact that our guest may not have been able to hear Brother Kwame clearly. He was just reinforcing a lot of what was being said by you both, and yeah, just wanted to big you up and was agreeing with much of what you said. There were no specific questions. So
thanks, Tendai Mwari.
Brother Naya, are you with us?
Tendai Mwari, Brother Naya. Welcome to Africa Speaks.
Tendai
Mwari, my brother.
Naya. What's your contribution to this evening's proceedings?
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
yes,
sir.
Loud and clear, my brother.
Yo, my brother, some serious things are going on the Skype thing, you know, but you are going now.
Go through.
Yeah, Tendai
Mwari.
The filmmaker, could he re-actualize and could he emphasize, because we have a film company called Menace Society, Menace Films. Has he heard about it?
Brother Naya is asking Brother Bunia, have you heard of Menace Films?
Menace Films, no, I haven't, unfortunately.
He hasn't, Brother Naya.
Yeah, so what we're saying is that the production and everything that he's dealing with, you know, we got some serious things that are going on. You know, so
are they Africans? Are they Africans, bro, or they non-Africans?
No, these are people. They come from Brixton and they come from Junction.
But them is Africans in Brixton and Junction as well. So are they Africans or are they non-Africans?
My elder, these people have been doing some films from a long time, you know, so they have to link up with man like Smiley Culture, Arere, Asha Senator. But Menace Films is that I think they had the you know them UK films, them what's them ones up with it? Them UK films, man.
You mean
there was into them
kidulthood, adulthood, and all that kind of stuff.
What's it called?
Kidulthood and adulthood and all that.
Yeah. Oh, bro, how come you know them stuff?
You have to do your research, King.
Yeah, 100%.
You have to do your research.
My brother, I'll tell you what you do. Do you have? Do you know the website or anywhere that people can access the information for what you are trying to suggest? And then brothers and sisters can do their own research and get in where they fit in terms of connection.
But the thing is, right, I haven't got the permission to really say these things, you know, but I just said it.
Well, give thanks, my brother Naya. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, okay, fine. So we've understood. Yeah, Menace Films, and you're saying that Brother Bunia and Brother Mike should check out Menace Films. Yeah.
Yeah, give thanks, my elder.
Give thanks, my brother Naya. All right.
Will do.
All right. Giving thanks, brother Bunia. All right. Kings and Queens, the number to call is 0203-289-6504. You can do that just as brother Naya and brother Kwame have done. You can also text us on 073 77920703. Yeah, that's 07 377-920-703. One more time, the call-in number is 0203-289-6504. Right, brother leader, just let me know when you're ready, and we'll bring you through properly. But let's get back to this question in terms of putting the art within the context of a Pan-African movement. Give our listeners, an idea of the extent to which a Pan-African movement exists in the nation of Senegal.
Repeat the question, please.
Yes, my brother.
Shaka.
Yes, sir. No problem.
Yeah.
Just I'm kind of trying to get a flavor because our main question today is: can revolutionary art thrive outside of a revolutionary movement? Can our revolutionary art grow and develop and be effective outside of a revolutionary movement? Yeah. So the question is, being on the ground in Senegal, to what extent does a Pan-African revolutionary movement exist? Yeah. And is the art in Senegal really a reflection of the existence or lack of existence of a viable Pan-African revolutionary movement?
In Senegal.
Mm-hmm.
If I understand you asking if it exists a revolutionary movement in the art in Senegal.
Yes.
That's the question.
If a movement exists in Senegal, and what impact
is that movement having on the art,
or the absence of a movement has on the art in Senegal?
On the art.
Yes.
On the art. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, there is a lot of revolutionary movement in Senegal, but it's very difficult to find the impact in the art in Senegal. The reason is simple, because we don't got the possibility to decide the kind of film that we used to do.
Mm-hmm.
I told with Mark about my film, one of my film that I wanna how can say do inside the university since 5 years. But
that's University of Sheikh Anta Diop, yes?
University of Sheikh Anta Diop in Dakar.
Okay.
But it's very difficult to find the opportunity, the possibility to do that.
Okay.
Because there is some producer, just when they read your script, they can find the revolution in the script, and they won't go with you. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
That's true. We have maybe to be intelligent how we write our projects. But just to make you know that it's very difficult to find that. So there is some people that try to do films and that come from the revolutionary movement, like Studio ShakaRa, you know.
Yes.
With DJ Awadi. If you know DJ Awadi from PBS, he got a label that the name is Studio ShakaRa, and sometimes he do films. Documentary about African revolutionary, or he talk about Africa, and we can find it in his films. So there is some people also, like I know one of my brothers, Demba Ja, who try to do films in this way, you know. But we can also try to see the impact in some films of Alain Gomis, for example.
Right.
Why Alain Gomis? Because Alain Gomis, if you look Alain Gomis films, you can see that this man wanna show our culture. This man wanna do something.
Right.
Certainly, it's not easy if you are financed by the French. But we can see in his films
an attempt
that he want to show our culture. He want to show what's wrong here, what's not going here. For example, Félicité, you can see that, you know. In Félicité, I can just give a scene where someone have the leg break, and how I can say her mother is alone. She don't got enough money to to help pay for her son
for the operation that was
for the operation exactly, and she got some money. She gives some money to someone who are supposed to go to the pharmacy and buy some medicine. But when he was going, he find that there is the corner, those who live there, they get out to speak the hymn. How can I say the hymn national?
Okay.
Hymn national. What the country say next to their flag when they move the flag. The song of the country.
National anthem.
National.
Basically.
That's it. And when you see people do that, you are supposed to stay with them to rest. And he was supposed to he continued his road, go to the pharmacy and to buy it. What does mean in this film? Does mean that Alain Gomis say that we have a lot of problem and we can be disturbed by this kind of laws or this kind of shit.
Yes,
and
yes.
we can see a kind of revolutionary act with this scene in this film.
Okay.
You know, that's what I can say. There is some people that are trying to do, but it's not easy.
Yes,
and
sir.
sometimes when you are recognized like someone who are fighting, someone who is a revolutionary, it will be very difficult for you to find some partners and
Yes.
to do your films.
Yes, sir. Give thanks, brother Mac. Just to clarify, for those who may not have quite got what the film that brother Mike was referring to, it's a film called Félicité, yeah, by a director by the name of Alain Gomis, yeah. That's ALAIN, surname GOMIS, and the film is called Félicité. So I just want to highlight that from what our brother has said. And brother Bunia, please add, your perception. I'm kind of focusing it in terms of where you are on the ground, but you can make it broader if you want to, because I'm trying to make it as practical as possible and as real to life as possible. But what your perceptions of the development of a Pan-African movement in Senegal and its relationship to revolutionary art? And that can be film, it can be music, visual arts, and so on and so forth.
Sorry, brother ShakaRa. Just before you answer, my dear brother, I just want to remind brothers and sisters that the 17th of Mosiah, this coming Ujama Day, this coming Wednesday, is the birthday of the Prophet, and the Alkebu-Lan Revivalist Movement will be having our standard Mosiah Day. I liberations, as Rastafari would say, celebrations, and for many of us, we don't know the venue, but the venue is the Bridge Community Hut. That's the Bridge Community Hut, and it's Netherton, Netherton, Netherton Road, Tottenham, N15 6 Rwanda. D. Gotta think of a place from the motherland beginning with D. Right. So N15 6.
Djibouti.
Yes.
But you might not get that D from Djibouti. But either way.
Yeah.
Tell that word.
So brothers and sisters, that's our Mosiah iration, and we hope that you will want to be part of that. We get the information again to you at the end. Sorry, my brother.
100%.
We've actually got a caller on the line as
sorry,
well.
Sorry, brother Bunya. We're going to come back to your answer to the question shortly.
All right, the call 322
has
just gone.
Don't worry. Go ahead, brother Bunya. Sorry, you're about to answer my question.
Yes. So your question was to what extent? Go ahead.
Just basically your appreciation, particularly in relation to Senegal, but you can broaden it if you wish, in terms of location and also art form. In terms of the extent to which a Pan-African movement is guiding and influencing the development of an artistic culture and industry. Right, we do have a caller again, so I'm sorry to interrupt you again, brother Bunya. I apologize.
He's coming in,
and they're gone again. So go ahead, brother Bunya,
and
I'm going to suggest that when the caller comes back, we let brother Bunya finish, and then we get the caller. All right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, brother Bunya.
Yeah. So I've definitely encountered Pan-African revolutionary minded individuals in Senegal.
Okay.
And in, I spent time in Gambia last year as well. So I'll say there's factions of groups of Pan-Africanists that have that revolutionary mentality. I would say is if somebody is a revolutionary, right, and they are an artist,
yes,
that doesn't mean their art is going to be revolutionary by default.
Okay.
Because the expression, the nature, because we're colonization has touched every side of this sphere, right? So the way that we express ourselves through art has also been touched. Therefore, if we don't excavate the modalities that we're using in order to produce revolutionary artistic expression, then maybe more often than not, the expression is not revolutionary, even if we do have the mentality. So in a way, I'm answering that question to say that even those who I encounter who do have a revolutionary mindset, they might not necessarily have the tools to use art as a real conduit for revolutionary action and response. You understand? So I do believe, it is my belief, my observation that amongst the global Pan-African community, specifically in the UK, which is obviously where I'm from, and that, well, not where I'm from, where I live, where I ended up. There is a little bit of a disconnect between. So there are Pan-Africanists who are interested in cinema,
right?
But academically, they're not necessarily they're not necessarily as well informed as they are politically,
right?
And
understood.
The flip side is you have people from the Pan-African community who may not even call themselves Pan-Africanists,
right? And
they're politically benign. I think the word is I'm looking for.
Okay.
So the presence of a Pan-African, a Pan-Africanist presence and a revolutionary presence in any of these countries we're discussing doesn't automatically mean that the art is going to reflect that. And so therefore I believe, and it's my conviction in what I'm doing here, for example, to merge the two, to provide semiotic cinematic education that has politics at its core, to be able to activate that revolutionary gene inside of the Pan-African community.
Right.
You understand?
Right. Now, what I'm getting from what you're saying, brother Bunia. Oh, there's a caller. Right, 322. You're live on Africa Speaks of Alkebu-Lan. What's your name? Where you calling from?
How you doing there? You okay?
I'm good, sir. What's your name, my brother?
Brother Ade.
Greetings, brother Ade.
Share your name, my brother.
Adupe for Ledumare.
Yes, sir.
Long time no here, my brother. Long time no here.
Well, I lost touch with you. Just my son, who is technically advanced, who would help me to locate your number, because I had the previous number,
Okay, well, it's good to hear your voice, my brother. What's your contribution this evening?
Well, you're talking of Pan-Africanist, Pan-Africanist, you've got to achieve something, because there's no point, being a Pan-Africanist and go around in circles. It's all about achieving something.
Yes, my brother, we agree. And luckily, we are on the line with some brothers who are in Senegal doing some good work. And so certainly achievements are in progress and on the horizon. Have you heard about what our brothers have shared in terms of the work that they're doing in Senegal?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's unfortunate, my brother. So we're going to try. You're going to have to catch the replay.
Things like for African people, that sentimental African people, effort has been made over here in order to recover all these things, all these artifacts, stolen artifacts,
100%, my brother. And again, we're on the line with some brothers who are doing just that. Yeah, they're developing some work and they're trying to build some institutions that will enable us to reclaim our African minds. Yeah, it's particularly through the vehicle of film. Yeah, so I would encourage you to listen in and also catch the replay in terms of
brother Ade, yes.
what the works the brother are doing, and seeing how you can tap in and feast from the wellspring of their efforts, my brother. You understand?
Well, well, every help, everything that what we do as people, I mean, obviously it's got to come to fruition eventually.
Yes, sir, 100%.
Everybody doing different things.
100%. 100%. Giving thanks, Brother Ade, for your contribution to this evening's show.
Stay tuned, my brother. Stay tuned.
100%. Tendai Mwale. Yes, Brother Bunia, Brother Mac, and Brother Leader is now with us as well. Tendai, my Brother Leader, can we just want to do a sound check, if I may?
Tendai Mwale.
Yes, we can hear you clearly, Brother Leader. Give him thanks, give him thanks, give him thanks. Tendai Mwale.
Garvey lives.
Garvey lives.
Mosiah lives.
Mosiah lives.
You live?
All right.
Mosiah lives.
Yeah, just we're going to come to you shortly, Brother Leader. Just to tease out this question from in relation to the politics. Yeah, from what I get from what you're saying, Brother Bunia, because often you and I know, yeah, Alkebu-Lan Revivalist Movement, AAPRP background, political education is fundamental, yeah, to Pan-African development. What I hear from what you're saying is that in terms of this symbiotic relationship, we need to develop, we need to not wait for political education before we develop art, but develop art as a tool of political education. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Understood.
I would add to that with the youth, there's an opportunity to educate first before they engage in these modalities. Actually,
okay, and you know what? I'm minded by my brother Abiola So, yeah, from the organization Nation Kamit, and he's quite an advocate for the fact that we need less education and more propaganda. He said. Yeah, because basically propaganda is designed to acculturate a mass population to certain ideas, yeah, and so it sounds facetious and it sounds controversial when he says that, but I had a full conversation with him and he's impassioned by the need for us to have more Pan-African propaganda and not just education, if that makes sense. So give him thanks for that understanding. I'm going to ask you one more question, and we're going to bring Brother Leader. What as you see it are the prospects and the opportunities, yeah, for developing Pan-African revolutionary art in general, film in particular, and what are the primary challenges do you see it that we need to overcome?
Do you want to answer that question?
Yeah, go on. I can?
You can, yeah.
Okay. The question is how I can say...
What are the opportunities?
The opportunities
for developing revolutionary Pan-African art?
Opportunities. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I hope that the first opportunity is we have something what we can talk about, because art exists if there is not inspiration.
Right.
And inspiration exists with the life, with what happened in your life.
Yes, sir.
And if a man have a fight, he have a war, he have something to say, he have something to do, So a revolutionary can inspire artists. And if we take the example of Senegal, it was sometime with rap music, with rap music, I can say that I have known many things in my life and in my environment, and what pushed me to read some books, it come from art, rap music.
Yeah.
Okay.
I listened some guys like Pakoti, who was doing what we say here, rap conscient, the conscient hip hop,
conscious rap,
conscious rap.
Yes,
that's it. And how I can say that come from this message, this energy that push me and give me the the love to read some kind of books, to discover who is Sharante Job, who is Thomas Sankara.
Yes.
It come from rap, because they told me about my reality.
Yes.
About how I am supposed to do to participate in the development of my country, of my society, of my community.
Yes.
Yes. And it come from revolution.
Right.
It come from their revolutionary culture, because they wanted a better life, they wanted a better world, they wanted a better Senegal. That's why I say that the first opportunity is that revolutionary, give to art inspiration.
Yes, sir. Yes,
You
sir.
know.
Yes, sir. Give thanks for that. Give thanks for that. Anything you want to add, Brother Bunia? And then we're
just
gonna go
quickly,
to
'cause I
Brother
know
Leader.
time is running.
Yeah.
and Brother Leader is there.
Yeah, so we
I would
sorry,
say
just
that,
to announce, sorry, Brother Bunya, just to announce, we're inside the last 10 minutes, yeah, and so we're gonna hear from Brother Bunya, then we're gonna get Brother Leader, then we're gonna close the show. All right, just for our listeners.
please.
Tell them where. Go ahead,
Waiting,
brother.
I've been waiting all a few hours for Brother Leader to speak. So, I would say that opportunities exist when we release the shackles of convention that have so far kept us from making the things that we want to make.
Wow.
Right? There are a lot of us that are caught up in, especially those in the film industry, who may have some designs to produce some revolutionary work.
Wow.
They won't. I have a brethren, a close brethren of mine, and we've had these discussions. He's a DOP. He works on some, quite high-end productions, but he believes he has to have that same high-end experience to make anything, and that's nonsense.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
As long as you've got the basic tools, because if you go around the continent, you can see people with the basic tools who make art that transcends their means. You understand?
Right.
So we have to remember that this, in terms of cinema in particular, we're in 2022. Well, we are where we are now, right? And technologically, exactly.
Yes, sir.
Technologically, we're in a space where we don't need certain things anymore. We don't need them, right?
Sir.
We can do everything that we want to do of our own accord. We just need to provide the foundations, like Filmica, for example, like Senti Yenenga, whereby we can sew up those last gaps, those last holes that have traditionally kept us from finding some autonomous spaces and autonomous opportunities to make the art. So the opportunities are there if we can deprogram and decolonize the methods, actually, of making art in the first place.
100%. Thank you very much, Brother Bunya. Thank you very much, Brother Mike. I'm conscious of the fact that your answers to that question may be your last words on the show because of the length of time that we've got left. But I just want to show my appreciation to you both. I know that I'll do that again before the show is done. But just to open for Brother Leader to add anything, we're not going to give you any specific question, Brother Leader. Just add anything based upon what you have heard from our two brothers and our sister, not to forget Sister Tamu Mazama, the daughter of Mambo Ama Mazama, who sent her contribution in via audio earlier in the show. Please expound upon the subject and anything that you want to share in relation to what our brothers have said, Brother Leader. Tena Mwari. You're on mute, Brother Leader.
Tena Mwari.
Tena Mwari.
Tena Mwari.
Rumbidzo kuna Mwari, Africa, to the God of Africa be the glory. Garvey lives.
Garvey lives.
Mosiah lives.
Mosiah lives.
He lives.
He lives.
Giving thanks and praises unto Mwari Nyakusika, God, the creator of the universe, our great ancestors, for blessing us with this very important show this evening. And we give thanks for our young brothers and the enlightenment that they have given us and sharing their own insight, their own wisdom and experiences. It's well appreciated. And it's needless to say, full of value. Can I suggest, going back to the beginning of the discussion this evening, that if an African who is fluent in an African language, only fluent in an African language, and an African who is only fluent in a European language are having difficulties in communicating, the language barrier is with the African who is only fluent in an English language.
I agree, my brother.
Or a European language. Can I suggest that?
Yes, sir.
That is where the language barrier is.
Yes,
Never
sir.
with the African who only speaks fluently in an African language.
100%.
Because that should be the condition of every single African on the planet.
Yes, sir.
That we are fluent in African languages first and foremost.
Yes, sir.
I don't need to convince present company of that. So I'll just say that and move on. And just very quickly, in relation to the question as to whether revolutionary art can thrive outside of a revolutionary movement. If we understand a movement to be a social force which seeks to advance the will of the people. If we're talking about a revolutionary movement, then it is a social force that seeks to advance the will of the people to be free.
Yes, sir.
It is the determination of a people to be free. It is the determination of a people to overturn the existing social order, the existing socio-political system, the existing economic system that serves only to oppress them, to overturn that system,
yes, sir,
and to put in its place a just Maatian system,
yes, sir,
a system in which their people have autonomy.
Yes, sir.
That's a revolutionary movement. It is a force, a social force. And in that context, we place the revolutionary art. Art is creative expression. It conveys the aesthetics of the culture. It conveys the emotional orientation of the culture, the emotional power of the culture is expressed through the art. But the art gets its direction, its context from the movement.
Yes, sir.
Which is an expression of the culture of the people. It's how the people deal with their resistance, or they resist against oppression.
Yes, sir.
That is part of the culture. So the movement, the art forms and the art content is incubated in the movement itself. So the movement informs and directs the art, and the art gives expression to the will of the people. It gives expression to the vision of the people, the ideology of the people to be free, the revolutionary art form. And indeed, if we look at our history, we see the examples of this in our history. We see it with in the Garvey movement.
Yes.
And the what was it called again? The Renaissance.
The Harlem Renaissance.
The Harlem Renaissance. Sorry, that slipped me. And the Black Art movement of the revolutionary 1960s, where we see the flowering of African art, giving expression to the vision, giving expression to the will of the people to be free, the vision of the people to be liberated, to be totally liberated. And so the art is profoundly important to the movement, the revolutionary movement.
Yes, sir.
It cannot exist without the revolutionary movement. And without the art form, the revolutionary movement lacks the rhythm, it lacks the aesthetics, it lacks that, it lacks the creative expression and conveyance of the mood and the emotion, the collective mood and emotion of the people of the day.
Yes, sir. Yes,
so let me submit that. I do apologize that I wasn't able to join earlier on, battling with some challenges on this side, and I didn't hear all of the discussion. But what I did hear was engaging, was informative, inspiring. I like to hear the younger generation wax lyrical. And, that's what I experienced, not just in terms of form, but in terms of essence, not just in terms of symbolism, but in terms of substance.
Yes, sir.
And I think we got essence and substance with form and symbolism this evening from our young brothers. I salute you. I hail you. Long may your work continue. Long may it serve to transform the minds and hearts and souls of our people as we strive in the name of the most eminent prophet and king, His Excellency Marcus Mosiah Garvey, to revolutionize, to Africanize time and space, and to revolutionize African time and space. I close with the words of the most eminent prophet and king, His Excellency Marcus Mosiah Garvey, who says, "Unite, organize now or perish. Rise, you mighty African people, for you can accomplish whatever you will. Rumbidzo kunamwari Africa, to the God of Africa be the glory.
Tenamwari, brother leader, giving thanks to yourself, giving thanks to brother M.A. Bunia, giving thanks to brother Mike. I look forward to hearing more from you both, and we're going to have to keep our listeners engaged, with the work that is taking place there. I know that we'll talk more. I do want to mention very quickly on the subject of revolutionary artists that we want to honor the name of one Baba Fela Anikulapo Kuti, because this month is the 20th anniversary of his passing, and the 2nd of Mosiah in the year 1997. And I also want to hail up the name of a recent ancestor by the name of brother Ray Carlos, or Uncle Ray Carlos, who passed just 4 days ago. One who was active in our community, loved his people, worked with everyone from the Jazz Warriors back in the day, who... Brother Robin Walker was a part of the Jazz Warriors as well, you know what I'm saying, and many others, kings and queens, a stalwart of the African community in terms of music, and one who made a contribution to our people's liberation, and was also worked with Uncle Ashaba and the African Revolution, recently passed away. So as we honor our revolutionary artists, I just want to hail out the name of Uncle Ray Carlos, who passed 4 days ago. Tenamwari.
Tenamwari ShakaRa. Tenamwari, brothers and sisters, this has been Africa Speaks with Alkebu-Lan. Join us again next strong between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m., where we talk it straight and make it plain.